What's up, everybody? It is me, She Loves Thee. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's show, The Battle of the Trenches, um, titled Iron Sharpens Iron. If it's your first time coming or you've already been here, you know I'm going to ask for you to hit that like button and also hit subscribe. We're less than 2.5 weeks away from ground zero. And if you're in the chat, go ahead and let me know where you're tapping in from. I am all the way in Columbia, Missouri for this particular live. My grandmother turns 97 years old. Well, it's my great grandma and my son's great grandma. She turns 97 on Friday. So we are here in Columbia, Missouri. Let me know where y'all are coming from, where y'all at, whether you're on the East Coast or the West Coast. While we're waiting on everybody to tap in, I'm going to share the live in a couple more groups. Let's see. Hey, Quisha. We have Quisha. I don't know where you're tuning in from. Where are you tuning in from, Quisha? We're going to have fun tonight. It's literally crunch time. So at this point, we got H-Town in the house, Mr. Sharp. Literally crunch time right now. Like at this point, for the most part, rosters are set. There might be a couple. We got Chicago in the house, ATL. How you doing, Mr. Hardy? ATL. Atlanta, I have an announcement for you guys. Later on in the show, I'll make my Atlanta announcement. Thank you all. We got ATL deep. So I can't wait to see some of my Atlanta folks at the SWAC MEAC Challenge. Miss Whitley here from Ohio. We got Houston, Texas in the building. Listen, y'all, I'm so excited about this live because when I say everything is shaping up, Fallon, Illinois here. We got Illinois, Shaw, Mississippi, and the DMV is in the house. So it's good to see you all here. Man, this is Christmas in August right now because when I did my research and looked at this roster that we have and how it's shaping together, and you know, as we get closer, you get you're still on the outside, but what you can see, it all looks good. You want to say hey? Say hey, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
That's my son, Braxton. We got Jackson, Mississippi in the house. Y'all making it hard on me trying to watch both streams. Oh, no, I didn't know there was another stream. Who's other stream? Who's streaming? Who else is streaming? I know. Oh. Yeah, I didn't know he was streaming today. Be more in the house. So thank you all for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and get started. I promise you, the way this defense and offensive line is shaped up, I can see why that some of the players decided to leave. I mean, if you look at it, it's not hard to see why. All right. So we're going to start with that D line. Also, this is an extension of the dark side defense. As you know, last year, Jackson State was not just the number one in the SWAC, but the number one overall in all of FCS. And a lot of folks are saying, well, all those players are gone. All those players are gone. Look, our roster, it's looking like another three-peat. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Coach Bradley and what he brings to Jackson State, because a lot of people were talking about the coaching staff. And if you really take a look at the coaches on this roster and what Coach T.C. Taylor has built as far as his program, um, you can see the development of the players. And so, what do we know? If we see development in the players, that means that they have something in that back room that guarantees, development means that there's a good thing going in the back room. So, Coach Bradley, his last season, of course, we know that he was a co-defensive coordinator at Alcorn. They ranked third in the SWAC with 39 sacks and fourth in total defense, yielding to 325 yards per game. Prior to Alcorn, Bradley coached at Arkansas Pine Bluff, serving in various positions. Fewest passing touchdowns allowed in the league. In the spring of 2021, the Golden Lions tied for the league lead in sacks en route to the SWAC Western Division Championship and a berth in the SWAC Championship game. Prior to UAPB, am I still frozen? Can you guys still hear me? Let me see. I'm going to turn my camera off. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. I stopped talking. Okay, so since I'm on the hotel internet, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just turn my camera off. That way, if y'all can still hear me, we can still continue the show. All right. So Bradley, prior to UAPB, he spent time at North Carolina Central as an assistant defensive line coach, and so throughout this live and throughout the coaches, you're going to see that all of them have a certain connect to one another. So a lot of the coaching staff that is at Jackson State, they have spent time with one another. They have already coached with one another. So that means that they've already built that relationship and bond, and they're able to work together. As you know, there were several different coaches that are currently on the roster that that coached, or some of them even played at North Carolina Central, including Coach T.C. Taylor. Bradley spent 4 seasons in the NFL as a defensive lineman with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Detroit Lions. A 4-year player at Arkansas State. Bradley began his coaching career at his alma mater before his tenure at North Carolina Central University. So, so this, I wanted to show you guys this picture right here. Now, this is no sound. Lord, let me see. Uh-oh. Can you guys hear me? Diamond. Somebody said they could hear me. All right, Miss Paris. So you know what? Since we're having technical difficulties, I'm going to try as much as possible to run through this in less than an hour. So this is Coinus Miller Jr. And obviously, he's probably not 300 pounds anymore. You can see a world of difference in coyness from 2021 up until now. A world of difference. So he's probably not 300 pounds. He probably dropped 10 to 15 pounds since then. And you can just see it in his face. He looks like a totally different person. This is Coyness Miller, who he left Jackson State, and now he's back, and he is a 4-star recruit. He came from Auburn, and he came to Jackson State for a little bit, and then he ended up leaving. And his position is defensive tackle. So when I tell you that just because some players exited out, whether it was 60 players or 65 or 70, all of our different positions have been replenished. So this is Coyness Miller. As a prospect, he was a 4-star. When he got to Jackson State, he had gained weight. He was a little bit. He's not, according to the website. He's 287 now. Okay, so he's done dropped some pounds. So 287, he's done dropped about 13, but it's basically nothing but, from what I can see from Coach Beef's Twitter, when he posted Coyness lifting, he looks like all muscle. So that just speaks to, of course, once again, we were talking about that strength and conditioning and how important it's going to be for this season. And I think looking at the development of Coyness Miller just kind of proves that, there's been some development that's been going on in the strength and conditioning, and he's strong, and he's defensive tackle. He's coming for you. I want to say that he was lifting. I saw a video where he was lifting like a ridiculous amount of pounds, but that's what I wanted to show you guys, is that development of our D line. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is our dark side defense. Now take a look, and I wanted to let you all know that our Jackson State roster has been updated. So if you want to get a chance to go there, there's a couple of them that they are still uploading pictures, but for the most part, our roster is done. With the exception of a couple of pictures of players, the roster that's set right now is what's set for the team. So that's why I pulled up the roster, and they actually have these really nice pictures. Shout out to ASVP Visuals. That's Austin. Shout out to him and the pictures that were taken for the team. These are our new pictures. There's a couple of players that do not currently have their updated pictures, but I'm sure that they'll be updating those because they literally just started posting them today. And I got lucky when I was checking to see the roster, and I saw all their new pictures. So make sure that you go to the Jackson State 2023 football roster and check out their new pictures. They're really, really nice and professionally done. So there was a lot of concern within the last week, and the concern was, we got players exiting and going into the transfer portal. So now this is not necessarily the official roster, but this is definitely an updated and more current roster. And by my count, I have 14 defensive linemen. 15 defensive linemen are currently on this roster. 15. So y'all tell me how many 3, 4, 4s, how many different scenarios are you going to be using the defensive line to where it's not 3 deep with 15 players? And why somebody might decide if it's their last year, this is the last hurrah, why they might enter the transfer portal if they knew their time was going to be limited or they're not on the ones. And I wanted to talk a little bit about some of our returning players. So I'm just going to go through each one. Braxton Barney is a freshman. Stanley Cooks is a freshman. And then, of course, we had Devontae Davis. He was on our roster last year. Coinus Miller, Jeremiah Williams, Charlton Goodell, Julius Reynolds, Antonio Doyle. Afton Smith is a transfer from UAPB. And Mr. Washington said Stanley Cooks is a 3-star. True Thompson was on our roster as well. But he had an injury and he didn't play last year. Zion Walker is a 2-star. He's from Whitehaven High School. That's the same high school that Ahmad Miller, which is Aubrey Miller's little brother, he came from that school. And that's also the former school that our offensive coordinator coached at. Tyus Martin, that is the Colorado transfer. And Paris, we do have some hybrid linebackers. I'm not sure if Josh Clark is going to be one of those hybrid linebackers that they take and put on the edge. He might be. Josh Clark might be coming up off the edge. Philip Webb is the 4-star from LSU. J.D. Granger is from Natchez, Mississippi. They don't currently have a picture for him. But, I mean, if I am a grad transfer and I come into a room this deep, and Dusty brother asked, will we have the number 1 defense in the FCS this year? Absolutely. Why would I not think that? With the depth that we have, come on, man. Oh, Lord. Mr. Campbell, he's coming in here to see who is going to get past that FAMU O-line straight to Musa and knock the Sonic rings. He wants to know, who is it that's going to knock the Sonic rings out of Musa? Is it going to be Doyle? Is it going to be Julius Reynolds? Is Coinus going to get there? Because he was pretty fast on that 10-yard fly now. Is True Thompson going to, because them boys are strong. I'm trying to pull up some of their video from Coach Beef. It's not, you don't want that coming right towards you. I would be scared. You got almost 1,200 pounds coming at you. Scary. I know they scared. FAMU, thank you guys for being in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button. I know y'all are scared. The Blue Blossom Classic is coming and it's going to be basically that's your day of reckoning. And I know y'all are scared, so I'm just here to everything that you thought that Jackson State is true. Believe it all. Be afraid, cause we're coming. Mm-hmm. So let's go on to the next slide. Oh, look at those pancakes. Don't them pancakes look good? They look amazing. I thought Julius Reynolds was heavier than 230. Let me go ahead and take a look. Mm-hmm. He might be 285. Let's look. I am not above reproach. Let's see. He's a defense line. Oh yeah. So on here actually says 270. So I apologize about that. Julius Reynolds. And you know what? I might have gotten that from? I might have gotten it from 247 Sports. Because I was trying to look up his stars, which he was a star recruit. I want to say he was a 2 or 3 star coming out of high school. Look at these pancakes. Oh, y'all are about to make me. I mean, IHOP, what's good? We need an NIL deal. Look at them pancakes. Because that's what the O line is going to be serving all season long. Pancakes. So let's get into this offensive line. This is Coach J.O. And I don't know if anybody had a chance to tune in to the interviews done by both him and Coach Bradley. So if you have not done so, make sure that you go to the Jackson State football YouTube and go check out their interview that they recently had. They have, of course, the press conferences, and I think they're really well spoken. They explain it to a T. I'm gonna go ahead because it's less than a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and play a piece of it from the Jackson State Twitter feed. Let me see if I can play that. Hang on just a second. And just how he speaks about it, I get excited hearing about the offensive line and what they bring to the table. It makes me believe. I already believe, but this is reassuring.
And what is your assessment on how your offensive line unit's dealing with that? And what is that like practicing against those guys every single day?
Yeah, man, it's cliche, but iron sharpens iron. So, the opportunity for us to go out there every day and fight against probably one of the better D lines for sure in this conference, and probably going to be one of the better ones in the country, has been making us better. Again, the relationship that me and Coach Bradley have had over the years of just having O line and D lines going against each other, we knew the kind of product that we were going to get up front once we got the right guys and the right bodies in here. And now you're seeing those guys develop every day going to work. It's a different game in those trenches. So you got to come to work every day, and the guys that we're battling with are for sure going to be some of the better guys in our conference. So it is making us better. You're seeing guys step up, and you're starting to see guys take the coaching and the development and putting us in position to where we're going to have a pretty good group up front.
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Yo. Okay. So, what did you guys think about Coach J.O? Let's take a. I'm trying to do a poll. Who do you think is winning in the trenches during fall camp? Which side do you think is winning the trench battle? Dang, Blue! Don't do me like that. I was talking for a long ass time too. I was just going ham, boy. I was going in. So we got a poll in the chat. Which side do you think is winning the trench battle? So basically, let me repeat what I was saying. So what I was saying is, shout out to Ken Clark and 1400 Club, because they did a donation, or they took up donations so that they could buy this piece of equipment. And then I asked somebody to let me know what type of equipment that is that they're utilizing to basically train with. I guess it helps them stay low, squat, online shoot. Okay, so once again, we're talking about that development between the two teams, between, of course, Jackson State offensive line and the defensive line, and the competition that they have between the two. Oh, Lord. Wow. Whatever. It wasn't muted, y'all. This internet is kind of ghetto. Let me know if y'all can hear me now. But anyway, Adilo said that he needs to get an online shoot for his wife, whatever that means. Yeah, so let's go over Coach J.O. and all of his wonderful resume. Now, I have a poll in the chat, and I'm asking, y'all not even gonna give the offensive line no love? Can I even vote? Which side do you think is winning the trench battle? Not y'all. Y'all are not giving offensive line no grace. So the online shoot, basically they squat underneath there, and then they learn how to, I guess, stay in that type of, you got to stay low. And they're learning how to tackle low, stay low. I don't know if it's a zone shoot or a trap shoot. Okay, so the trap shoot, they're able to learn how to run tight formations with the entire offensive line and receivers. The trap shoot helps keep players low and fierce. Zone shoots teach your players to stay low longer. The larger size of the zone shoot allows coaches to train more players in less time. So, with that, we got to see the O-line first. All right, Miss Whitley. And you know what? I'm not going to be biased. Now, do I still think that we have the best O-line and D-line in the SWAC? Absolutely. And not only that, we have the training and development to go along with it. So if you're going against the number one defensive line in the country, then you're going to have to pull your weight and meet up to those expectations. So Coach J.O., he had 2 seasons as tight ends coach at his alma mater, NIU. which is Northern Illinois. And as you know, there are a couple of coaches from Northern Illinois that have joined the Jackson State roster. So once again, we see that there are coaches that have already worked together. They've already developed a bond. They know how to work collectively. So that's important. And they all have one goal, and that's to start in Atlanta, finish in Atlanta. In 2022, Coach J.O. was a part of a training camp with the LA Chargers as a part of the Bill Walsh Diversity Fellowship Program. So this is that's our O-line coach right there. He's going to training camps and getting that. We got Mr. Ford in the chat. He coached the offensive line, and Mario said he lives 1 hour from Northern Illinois University. He coached offensive line at Southeast Missouri State. He actually coached in the SWAC at Arkansas Pine Bluff, allowing the second fewest sacks in the conference, anchored by the 2023 NFL draft prospect Mark Evans, the second, while helping the Golden Lions post their first winning season since 2012. So Coach J.O. wants you to know that Mark Evans, he was helping develop him. And now we're getting ready to get into Coach J.O.'s. How you doing, Mr. Ford?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
All right.
What you think about our defensive line?
I'm very impressed with that staff. I'm looking forward to watching that kid, True Thompson, you were talking about. He's from the Atlanta area. Went to Grayson High School. I saw him in high school. I think he should be set up to have a great year this year. But like you said, they got so much depth on that defensive line. And you asking a question about offensive and defensive line. Now, I'm going to just tell you, when I was coaching, the defensive line was always ahead of the offensive line. Now, some of our guys on the offensive line, because they were so big and had so much girth, they wouldn't get into the best shape they could get into until the weather changed. Now, when it would kind of get a little chilly, a lot of them could play longer, okay? And so the offensive line, when I was coaching, was always kind of behind the defensive line. And like I said, when it came to stamina, a lot of the offensive linemen would get into better shape once the heat broke and it got kind of chilly and, it wasn't as hot.
I would imagine, though, playing against a defense to that pedigree at Jackson State, once, like Coach J.O. said, that iron sharpens iron, I would imagine that they are light years ahead. Now, we're going to get ready to take a look at the offensive line. And what I did notice is that there are a lot of JUCO transfers, and we do have a lot of young talent. But once again, with Coach Beef and his strength and conditioning, and then with the talent and the depth of knowledge that they have on the staff, I feel like that even the young guys are going to be able to go up to expectation. I just wanted to finish out Coach J.O. because he was at North Carolina Central for a 5-year period.
Yeah, I remember him. Matter of fact, they had a really good staff up there. That was Jerry Mack's staff. Jerry Mack is now the running back coach at Tennessee. They had a really good staff at North Carolina Central. I'm trying to think. The president was a lady. I think she succumbed to cancer. And I remember the lady who was the athletic director. And Jerry Mack.
Coach T.C. Taylor was there.
Yeah, he was the offense coordinator.
There, all of these coaches have, because a lot of times there's an argument, well, they've never coached, or it's a new coaching staff. When in reality, the majority of the coaching staff have, at one point or another, they've coached together on winning teams.
Yeah, they got some continuity. Yeah, without a doubt.
And so he was an offensive line coach, running game coordinator, and offensive coordinator over a 5-year period. He led the Eagles to 4 straight winning seasons from 2014 to 2017. In 2016, the North Carolina Central MEAC title They received its first national ranking as a Division I FCS program and earned a trip to the Celebration Bowl. The Eagles also defeated then number 9 ranked North Carolina A&T and broke the school's single season record for total offense.
Right.
So Coach J.O. knows what type of young men he needs to build that offensive line. And like I said, this is the battle of the trenches, meaning that I'll say for us, in both Celebration Bowl losses, the trenches is where the determination of the game, what it came down to.
Yeah, that's true. That first one was definitely that defensive line of South Carolina State beat up on the offensive line. The second Celebration Bowl with so many kids left, and they were hurt depth-wise. That's what happened to them in that game against Central. You know, when Deion made it known that he was going to Colorado, so many kids jumped into the portal, and it hurt the rotation and the depth that Jackson had going the whole year.
Right.
But their depth was second to none. Nobody could pull out the quality depth like Jackson could last year during the regular season.
And so for this offensive line, it really is a brand new offensive line.
Right.
We literally have Evan Henry.
Right. And you said Evan's going to center? Did you say he's going to center?
He is supposed to be going to center this year.
Okay, that's going to be a great move for him.
Josiah Roa from Santa Barbara Community College. He's supposedly trained for center as well.
Okay.
But as far as like at Jackson State and our offensive line, we have Deontay Graham, and he's upperclassman. Kirk Ford and Evan Henry.
I've always liked that Kirk Ford kid. That kid has always stood out to me.
But you know, seeing that we had an offensive line problem, a trench problem, we've added so many key pieces. Like Cameron James, he's going to need some development, but that kid's 6'8".
Yeah. Now, Miss Timoni, you really didn't have a trench problem on the offensive line. You had a coaching problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that guy that went up to Colorado, I'm glad he's gone. Now I hear you talking about Northern Illinois. Now you have to remember, Northern Illinois has one of the best rushing attacks probably in the last 10 years. One thing they do very well is run the football. So if you got an offensive line coach coming from Northern Illinois, he knows what he's doing.
I mean, if you run behind Cameron James, they ain't even gonna see you. If JD Martin is behind Cameron James, how you gonna see JD Martin? You're not even gonna know who it is. You're not gonna see him.
I think he's gonna have a big year this year. JD Martin's gonna have a really big year.
And then so this is my breakdown for the offensive line. So we have, of course, once again, I said Evan Henry, Deontay Graham, and Kirk Ford from the offensive line last year.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of high school talent.
Good.
And of course, that high school talent, oh yeah, Chris Gonzalez is a mountain. Yeah. 6'5", 310 pounds. Mr. Ford, did you see him? When I tell you these kids are big, my great grandma was like, "Oh my goodness." I was telling her about our offensive line, and she was like, "Well, how is he that big? Is he gonna be able to walk?" So I was trying to explain to her, like, these our offensive line is huge. I would venture to say that with that strength and conditioning that they got from Coach B and the development and the coaching that Coach J.O. brings, I see us being, once again, like he said, one of the top ones in the SWAC for the offensive line. And I wanted everybody to take a look at all of the high school talent that we have coming in. So we have Jackson King. That young man, he had an interview with Jeff Lightsey early on. He had a full academic scholarship. He's going to be in the engineering. His degree is something engineering, but he has a full academic scholarship. But he wanted to play for Jackson State. So he'll be coming in. Quavion Davis, I think I want to say that he was enrolled in the spring, like in January. And he comes from Louisville High School. Mr. Ford, you know that Quavion is from the same high school as Ethan Terrell, right? What? Bishop. No, we did not see Devontae flip Gonzalez in practice. But Bishop, iron sharpens iron, right? He won't get flipped no more. Iron sharpens iron. So if Devontae can flip Chris Gonzalez's big tail, good Lord. Oh my gosh. Douglas Fowler is from Dodge City Community College. Christian Walker is from Arabia Mountain High School.
That's Arabia Mountain in Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know where that high school is.
That's a good high school?
They turn out some prospects. They had Coach do you remember Stanley Pritchard? He played for the Miami Dolphins. He was out there as a head coach, but I think he's back in the city now. I don't know who's the head coach now.
Okay.
Yeah, he was.
Before they said that Devontae Davis flipped Chris Gonzalez.
Okay, now that Devontae Davis, that's that kid that was at the media day?
Yes.
Oh, that kid can play. He's good.
Chris Gonzalez is like 300 pounds and he's 6'5".
Yeah, but
and he
listen,
said Devontae Davis flipped him like a pancake.
Oh yeah, I like that. That Devontae Davis can play. I've seen him several times. He's from Alabama, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kid can play, man. He can. He should have a big year this year. He's gonna have a big year.
Almetrius Smith is from Coahoma Community College.
Mm-hmm.
So I do see that there are quite a few players from community colleges or from Mississippi area.
Right.
DeQuarius White is from Home Central High School, but you know what? He came in. I want to say he came in January. And then we have Success. He's actually from Ontario, Canada. We got somebody from
what's his name?
Success Chikezi.
What kind of size we talking about?
6'2", 292 pounds.
So we're talking about a guard or center. What is he, a guard?
I don't know his. Let me see if I can.
Oh, okay. But he's an offensive lineman, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's from Canada.
Right.
Let's see. Let's look at some of his film. Oh, he says his position is center and guard.
Okay. Yeah.
On the website, it says he squats 410 pounds, 6'3", 295 pounds. That's one thing about the development that I do like is that they did get some younger guys in there.
Right.
Because I feel like I can trust that Coach J.O. is going to be able to develop these players.
Well, I know you're keeping up with it, but SWAC is going to, especially Jackson State, in the next 2 to 3 years, are going to really get some super athletes because these so-called Power 5 schools are eating each other up. And then the forecast now is that some of these FBS schools who are not, supported by ESPN and Fox, these people are going to go belly up. And so a lot of these kids are going to come to Jackson and the Grambling and Florida A&M. It's going to be a lot of kids. The other thing is, it's obvious that these people who are trying to do all this realignment, they don't give a what again about these kids, because they're going to have these kids going back and forward 3,000 and 4,000 miles every weekend. That's not going to work. That means they don't care about those kids. And a lot of them kids are going to leave, and they're going to come to Jackson, and they're going to come to FAM and Southern and Grambling. They're going to come, Texas Southern. You just wait. The next 2 or 3 years, it's going to be a harvest of a recruitment.
So for us, I think that's important if that happens, that we stay steadfast as far as, like, I know there's a lot of talk, oh, we need to do this, oh, we need to do this for and I'm just like, don't be trying to do all that.
No, they better not, because you're going to see a lot of these programs go bankrupt. It's a lot of these programs, because listen, America's money is drying up. That's why you see certain Power Fives pulling together, because they saying it ain't enough money for everybody. Who would have ever thought they wouldn't care anything about Stanford and Cal Berkeley? Who would have ever thought that?
So then my other question for that, I guess, is why are people telling us to emulate this, that, and the third? And I'm getting ready to pull up DeAndre Towns Blue. He's from Lackawanna College.
Yeah, that's in Pennsylvania, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Scranton, yeah. That's where, isn't that where President Biden was born? Isn't that where he's from?
I don't know. I thought that was the same college that Nugget came out of, though.
Yeah. That several outstanding athletes have come out of Lackawanna. Yeah.
So I like the fact that we're hitting those highly touted community colleges, and that we're actually able to get some depth and players from there. So of course I like that we got this young man, because he has some DeAndre Towns Blue is, let me get his.
Is he an offensive lineman?
6'5", okay. 316 pounds. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Once again, quality depth, man. Y'all got so many people.
And we just had a couple of folks enter into the transfer portal in the past week, and I was like, they're really shaping out the offense and defense at this point. Like, you already know where you're at, on your team. There might be a couple of unknowns, but basically at this point, all you guys are doing is streamlining in practice and doing the repetitiveness and making sure that you got your snaps and that you're not doing offsides. Like, this is really what they're doing right now. They're just tweaking stuff. And Blue is getting ready to have a live in about 10 minutes.
Hey, you said some people went to the transfer portal. Was that one of them kids that went down to FAMU, a defensive lineman?
Let's go ahead and talk about it, Mr. Ford. So he was a defensive lineman, and he came from, I want to say he came from LA too.
Oh, I thought he came from southeastern Louisiana.
Oh yeah, maybe that is where he came from.
Yeah.
Let me pull that up. But that young man who decided to go to FAMU, he is a grad transfer.
Right.
Let me go back to the defensive line. So I can pick right now, if we're talking ones and twos, just looking at the defense, who you would think would be, you can only have so many defensive linemen on the line.
Right.
If they're running a 4-2-5 or what do you think, a 4-3 defense?
Well, most people, no one's really, like you said, most people now 4-2-5 or 3-4 or 50 front. That's what kind of 4-3. Most people now basically don't want but 2 linebackers on the field. They rather have 5 DBs on the field.
Right. So if we're saying that, you know, Braxton Barney and Stanley Cooks, those are high school recruits that Coach acquired during the signing day. Paris says that John Graves plays defensive tackle. So you already got Tyus Martin, who is coming from Colorado.
Right.
True
I know.
Thompson,
Yeah.
True's going to be playing in
Yeah.
that particular. Charlton Goodell, Devontae Coynes, and Jeremiah Williams, right?
Oh yeah. Mhm.
That's 5 or 6 players right there.
Oh yeah. So what? So you said how many people went in the transfer portal this week besides that kid we just talked about?
So the other one that went into the transfer portal, his name was Junior Halimi, and he was a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, there was a certain time that you had to report to practice. And I don't know if he reported on time to practice because he was graduating from his other college.
And what was his other college?
He was coming from Snow College. He was basically.
Oh yeah, I saw that kid. Yeah, okay, that's the kid from Snow College, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and that's what I thought. He never was on campus. He was trying to finish up his schoolwork at Snow College.
Okay.
So there's some players that had some a couple more classes that they had to finish up before they get their degree.
Right.
And he was one of those. So he never actually made it onto campus.
Right.
And that linebacker room is deep too. But me just looking at the defense right now and how many we have roughly like 15 defensive linemen. And then that's not even to say some of those linebackers are hybrid. Like Josh Clark can come up off the edge.
Oh yeah.
Let me see. So that was that. So we had John Graves the second, and he's a grad transfer. So this is literally his. That's nice. This is literally his last year being able to play. So do you think he's going to beat out Coynes, True, Devontae, Phillip, Zion, Jeremiah Williams, and Charlton Goodell, Tyus Martin? You think he's going to beat them out? I mean, it's kind of like, well, if you think you can beat them out, then of course you would stay. And Paris says Isaac Peppers is a hybrid as well, and which we heard, I want to say Coach Hammock, which I can also play that. That's on Jackson State Football's Twitter feed, where Coach Hammock was basically talking about his linebacker room. So if you think about it and you're thinking about them playing a 4-2-5 or, the type of defense that they're playing, you already at 3 deep and you can just pick your poison on which 4 you want to take.
Right.
I don't know if they're going to have 2 coming off the edge. So like Phillip Webb or Antonio Doyle coming off the edge, or Julius Reynolds. Or they're going to have some of Coach Hammock's linebackers transition to come up off the edge as well. So that kind of makes it slim pickings for John Graves. So he did decide to go to FAMU.
Okay.
But with 3 weeks left, is he going to be able to get to be up at the line, at the front of the line for that team? We're only 2 to 3 weeks.
He'll probably be depth, probably they'll probably institute him probably about the 3rd or 4th game. He's probably, got to learn the system and all.
Right.
But he'll probably be depth probably about the 4th or 5th. Won't start, but he'll get some considerable playing time.
And you think he'll get considerable playing time because FAMU needs help, all the help they can get?
Well, he's a veteran.
Right.
He didn't you say he graduated?
Yeah, he's a grad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The use of them guys, if they graduate transfers, they've been in the pit. They know what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm going to quickly share. This is Coach Hammock, and he's talking about some of the linebackers. So
Okay.
I think a couple of them linebackers are also hybrid, like Josh Clark, so they might come up off the edge.
What were some of the guys that caught your eye?
Defensively, linebacker wise, there's a lot of guys that are standing out for me right now. We go ones and twos, and it's just kind of how it's structured. But I really truly feel that we have a group of ones that can play in this conference at any point in time, and I feel comfortable with having those guys in the field. But Isaac Peppers has been standing out to me. Javarian Jenkins, Alan Walker, and then Khalil KJ. Those four guys, feel really good about those guys. At any point in time, any combination of those four, really can start the game and execute at a high level.
What have you been impressed by them the most? Like, what have they done to
It's just their physicality. That mindset coming in and ready to work every single day. But then also too their leadership. Out of those four guys, two are seniors, older guys that have played a lot of football in this conference. And their demand is very high for the rest of their unit. Everything starts with the linebackers as far as the vocal communication, the leadership, and they've shown that they can do that at a high level.
Sheesh. And one thing that I like about Coach TC is I don't see him playing favorites. I do not see Coach TC Taylor playing favorites or letting one person be in more than others. I think that rotation is going to be great. Everybody's going to get their chance. It's not going to be a repetitive where you're playing one player more than the other to fit a certain type of formula. Our offense is going to be a mixture. It's not going to just be air raid. So I think overall, all of it's going to be a great mix for our team. I think you can pick basically any 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 defensive linemen, and interchangeably, they're all ones. Ones and twos are going to be interchangeable. There's not going to be a situation where you're going to see a drop off between your ones and twos. The fact that the offensive line is having to play this type of defense every single day at practice, that increases the likelihood of them being great. Because if you're having to fight and block and make sure that you're blocking for your quarterback or blocking for the running back, if you have to make sure that you're on your ones and twos against the number one defense in the FCS, you're going to be able to see tremendous growth on that O-line. And then, so that's how I feel. I do know that there are some other lives that are going on tonight. I did want to make an announcement before we get off of this live. I will be at the SWAC Meet Challenge on August 26th in Atlanta, Georgia. I know we have a lot of Atlanta alums, and a lot of my subscribers or followers who tune in are from the Atlanta area. If you would like to make a donation for that particular SWAC Meet Challenge, that's my information. Let me go ahead and look at the poll. It went down to 92%. So for our particular poll that we took today, 116 votes. Which side do you think is winning the trench battle? Good Lord. The defensive line is 92%, and the That this is his dad. Oh, okay. Who is? Oh, okay. This is Mr. John Graves. This is his dad. So Mr. John Graves said, Graves is a dog. We didn't leave a program as a 3-year starter to be a role player. So this is Mr. Graves. I guess that would be Mr. Graves Sr., right? Because Mr. Graves is, or John Graves is a junior. So this is Mr. Graves Sr., and he indicates that Graves is a dog and that we didn't leave a program as a 3-year starter to be a role player. And basically, Mr. Graves indicates that whatever was discussed when he committed is not what was happening. As we all know, that when you get to practice and when you get, on the field, it is what it is. So, Mr. Graves, we look forward to seeing you in Miami. Breathe something to dry your eyes in ATL. Mr. Haynes, come on now. Now you know. And once again, Mr. Graves, we thank Mr. John for his coming to Jackson State, and we will see him in Atlanta, or wait, we'll see him in Miami. We wish him well. When you get to practice, things change. There's a lot of people on this team. You look at this roster. I'm gonna pull up this defensive roster right now, and sheesh, you can pick any 4 or 5. Interchangeable. So it was a deep room, and everybody got to fight for their spot. So at the end of the day, Mr. Graves, your son decided to go to FAMU, and we will see him in Miami for the Blue Blossom Classic. I'm going to quickly make an announcement on the color scheme. I want to say, is it a blue out? Before I get off this live, we do need to talk about the color scheme for MEAC SWAT Challenge. I know the AD Ashley Robinson did a post recently about what the color scheme is. Oh, and we also want to say congratulations to Coach Reed. I'm going to read that real quick too before we get off. I might as well. Let me read this about Coach Reed. Congratulations to Coach Reed. She has been named a member of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Oversight Committee. The NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Oversight Committee is responsible for ensuring that appropriate oversight of NCAA's Division I's women's basketball is maintained, for enhancing the development and public perception of the sport, and for making recommendations related to regular season and postseason competition, such as rule changes and administration of the championship tournament. The committee also prioritizes the enhancement of the student athlete educational experience from both an Can y'all hear me? Remember the name Aquarius White O-line from Adams County. I expect him to get major playing time as a true freshman. I don't know if y'all can still hear me or not. I think my live just quit on me. So I don't know how much of that Tamika Reed thing you heard, or if you heard any of it. But anyway, congratulations to Coach Tamika Reed. No, Mr. Williamson, I am, you know what? I never have any type of internet issues, but I'm in Missouri on the Wi-Fi. So I don't know how much of that you heard, but basically it's great to see that Coach Tamika Reed is going to be representing HBCUs, not only HBCUs, but the SWAC, as far as being a representative in those rooms where they're making decisions about the tournament and postseason play and how the tournament should be run. So it's great for to see her do that. And then what else do we have? Something else. Oh, the Jackson State women's soccer team, they played in an exhibition game against LA Tech this past week, and they cooked them like real bad. So congratulations to our Jackson State women's soccer team for winning in that particular exhibition. Let me see how much they won by. I want to say they won 4-1. And of course, as you know, that was the SWAC championship champions last year, and they were able to pull out a win last year. So hopefully we will see them with more competitive play against more Power 5, Group of 5 teams. Let's see. And I guess that's all I had for today. SWAC teams are saying that for years, and we're still here. I don't even know if Mr. Ford can still hear me. But I did want to say that I wanted to get his take on Jackson State golf, because as you all know, in 2024, we will be returning Jackson State golf to our lineup of athletic sports available at Jackson State. If we get once we get the golf back, I don't see us losing the Commissioner's Cup. I mean, that's the piece that we were missing, was the golf, and we lost to Alabama State this past year by less than 5 points. So if we would have had golf in there, it would have been a different story. We would have blew them out the water. And with that said, once again, thank you all for tuning in to my live. Let me do a poll real quick. Which room should we do? Should we do the linebackers? Is it linebackers and DBs left? I think that's what I have left. Is the linebacker room? Oh no. I want to say it's just the defensive backs and the safeties. I don't think I did. Did I do linebackers? I can't even remember. I think that's it. I did the defensive backs and we finished. Mr. Walker, I already did special teams. And we no longer have well, I'm not going to say we no longer. We are waiting to see what that kicker room is going to look like, because it's still up in the air. I don't know if we got Luke Jackson back. So for now, I think we still have Gerardo Baeza and Matt Knoll on there as far as the special teams. So I don't know who else we would add on there. Because right now on the roster, we only have Matt Knoll and Gerardo Baeza. Those are the only two kickers that we have on there. So that's it for that. Luke's not on the roster any longer, so we will see. Oh, okay. So Mr. Walker, we did lose Luke Jackson. He's not on the roster. So it's Gerardo Baeza and Matt Knoll right now. Eddie Payton made JSU golf a recognizable name in college golf. So yeah, Mr. Walker, the update on that is we currently have on the roster, and everybody, I'm getting ready to drop the roster in the chat so that you guys can go check it out, because our young men all have their updated pictures thanks to Austin Robinson and ASVP Visuals. So this is the updated roster. So 9 times out of 10, if you don't see their name on the roster, then that just means they're not there. If you don't see their name on the roster, it means that they're not there. So don't ask about where such and such is. If they're not on the roster, then that means that 9 times out of 10, they're no longer on the team. Because we're less than 2.5 weeks away. The roster is what the roster is. They might add 1 to 2, but for the most part, it's over. Moving forward tonight, we have, of course, Casey, 1400 and Friends, and then we're going to have the Blue Bloods is going. I want to say they're supposed to go live. Let me see. Did he go live? Blue went live at no, he has not went live yet. But anyway, he's getting ready to have a show on the realignment of impact on the FCS and the most important SWAC games, and that's with Coach Frederick. That particular live will be starting. Had to postpone to tomorrow night. Oh, never mind. Blue is coming back tomorrow. Okay. Pete, repeat it for the people in the back, especially for the. I keep seeing his pops tweeting at a coach from Etowamba Community College with his highlights. So I'm going to just say this, that as a student athlete, there's one piece that is very important, and that's being a student. And being a student athlete, you have to make sure that you take care of the classroom, do what you're supposed to do in the classroom at all times. Make sure you're making it to class and you're getting those grades, because that's going to be the most important piece at the end of it all. Not everybody's going to make it to the NFL, the XFL, or the CFL. So you got to make sure that while you're getting this great free education, that you take advantage of it. We will see in Atlanta who is on the roster. So, Miss Paris, I feel like the roster is pretty much set. Unless they plan on cutting 2 to 3 people, which I don't see, the roster has been updated on the website. We only have 2.5 weeks left. Only 2.5 weeks left. And at this point, it is what it is. They're not I'm gonna go ahead and just show y'all the roster since we got a little bit more time. Let's go ahead and look at this roster. And I'm telling you, it's star-studded. There's so many stars. I feel like I'm looking at the galaxy, at the Milky Way. That's how many stars there are. We got Alan Walker. He's going to be number 0 at linebacker. Rico Powers. I want to say Rico Powers is a 4-star. Josh Clark is a former 4-star. George McCorley. Let's see. Y'all, let's see. Let me do another poll. Oh, let me end this one. So it looks like the next live that I'll be doing is the defensive backs. Let's ask a question. How many stars do you count? I'm going to put a poll in here. How many stars on the roster? So if we add up all the stars on the roster, let's go ahead and add them up. And this includes if they were a former. So if they're a former 4-star, it counts. If they're a former 3-star, it counts. Let's count it up. And this right now, this is what the roster is. So these are brand new pictures, as you can see. So that means that if their picture is on here and their name is on here, that means that they're still on the roster. Alan Walker, Rico Powers, Joshua Clark, George McCorley, that's a wide receiver. Jaheim Hazel, Arterius Duke Miller, Jason Brown, Solomon Rogers, Irv Mulligan, Kevrick Wiggins, Isaias Guthrie, Zion McDonald, Kedron Callaghan, Seven McGee, Jalen Hughes, J.D. Martin, Fabian McCray, and B.J. Washington, Isaiah Kendall, Isaiah Spencer, which I think Coach talked a little bit about Isaiah Spencer in the last fall conference or press conference that they had. Tim Stewart, Nyreek Sharp, Grayson Thompson, Brandon Johnson, Isaac Peppers. That's a linebacker that if you watch the interview that was recently came out, Isaac Peppers is another one of the standout names. So you can put the name, the face and the name together. This is Isaac Peppers, which I want to say that Coach Hammock was speaking about earlier. And I'm not really reading the comments because I'm trying to go through the roster. Hayden Hagler, Khalil Arrington. Khalil is another name that they were speaking of in the linebacker room. Jacobian Morgan, Jonas Fortillion, Ahmad Dabney, Eric Simmons, Philip Short, Kobe Paul, Joe Perkins, Jordan Harris, Desmond Moultrie, Antonio Doyle, Javarian Jenkins. That's another name that we heard in the press conference. Anthony Petty, Josh Short. That's Philip Short's brother. And he is from Southern University. Tavarius Jones, Ahmad Miller. That's Aubrey Miller's little brother. Bruce Mitchell, Frankie Dunn. Frankie Dunn, I don't know if you guys saw in the past week that there was a video that was posted. I want to say it was either this past week or the week before that, and Frankie Dunn had gotten an interception during practice. Kevin May, Noah Bouye, Ezekiel Johnson. Ezekiel was the running back that had a standout game in the spring game. Gerardo Baeza, Philip Webb, Braxton Barney, Avery Salerno, Jamon McNeil, No, it's a different Braxton, baby. Jace Ward, Derek Scott, Desert Patton, Matt Knoll. Matt Knoll is going to be the punter. That's basically our defensive secret weapon right there, because he is punting 60 yards or better. He's going to pin the ball at that between the 1 yard line and the 20-yard line. Hunter Burns, that was a late transfer long snapper that we got. Charlton Goodell, of course, everybody knows that he was on the roster last year, and that is the commissioner's nephew. Jackson Berry, JD Granger, Ashton Taylor, Douglas Fowler, Athen Smith, Bryce Owens. These are the newest pictures, so I want to say that those are these are the people that are on the roster. Cameron James, Bobby Ragas, Damian Terry, Zion Gilmore, Almetrius Smith, Christian Walker. I don't know who this young man is, but that's not the right picture for Deontay Graham. So I'm sure they're going to switch that up. So Deontay Graham, they have to fix that because that's not who that is. Jackson King, Success to get Chikezi, Josiah Roa, DeQuarius Wright, Kirk Ford. Of course, those are all the offensive linemen. Evan Henry, Sir Riley, DeAndre Towns Blue, Chris Gonzalez, Quavion Davis, Jency Riley, Lester Miller. That was the wide receiver. I want to say that he was supposed to go to one of either Mississippi State or Ole Miss, and he decided to come to Jackson State. Sebastian Shate Lewis, Mike Williams, that's a 3-star out of Natchez, Mississippi. Andre Hunt, that's the fastest player on the team right now. It's Andre Hunt. DJ Stevens, Coinus Miller, Julian Smith, True Thompson. That's not Zion Walker's correct photo. So, yeah. Stanley Cooks, Julius Reynolds, Devontae Davis, Tyus Martin, Jeremiah Williams, Jacoby Hargon, and Kadarius Smith, Deontay Dixon, John Brown III, Kiera Conley Jr., Jaden Bossy, Logan Mack, Jeckomiah Walker, Tayari Sherwood, and Amari Matthews. So if you did not see somebody's name or you're wondering where they are, don't ask, because this is the roster. There's only 2.5 weeks left. And yes, Miss Granny Ann, the quality of the pictures is amazing. So shout out to Austin Robinson. He was going for the NFL look with the pictures, and so they came out amazing. So if you don't see somebody on the roster, don't ask about them, because we don't know. All we can go is off of the roster that's currently on the website. Once again, I will drop that link and you can go check it out for yourself. If you're saying, well, what about such and such? Go to the roster and look. If you don't see them on this most recent roster where they're actually putting up their pictures, then 9 times out of 10 they're not on the roster, or they're not on the team. I mean, there's no reason, Mr. Main TV. There's no reason to ask. Why would you ask where they are if they're not on the roster? You wouldn't ask like, oh, is Shedeur Sanders on the team? Like, he's not on the roster, so that means he's not on the team. And that's not being I'm not trying to be smart. I'm just saying the official roster is the official roster. And so what I go by is I look at the Jackson State football website, and if I don't see somebody on there, then I'm not going to report it. Or if I do see them on there, until I see them taken off, I'll report them as being on the team until I see them removed. So my last live that I did about Jackson State, I had Luke Jackson on there for the special teams live that I did. And as of August 9th, 2023, Luke Jackson is no longer on the roster on the website. So what type of defensive scheme is JSU using this? So that's a good question. I think they're going to be hybrid. And then again, it all depends on who you're going against. Let me see if I got this. So somebody asked the question, what type of defense will we run? So for me, I feel like it all depends on who you're playing. So if you're playing a team like who do I want to say? Let's say Southern is probably going to be run heavy this year. Who else is going to be run heavy this year? Alcorn is probably going to be run heavy this year, depending on who their quarterback is. So it just depends on who you're playing. If you're going to play a run heavy team, then you're going to play a different type of defense. If you're playing somebody like FAMU and you have Musa, who they believe that he is going to be able to throw the ball, and they also believe that, you know, he has some good wide receivers. That defense, you're going to be blitzing him all game. And why would you blitz Musa all game? Because based off of how he played last year with the blitzing, we got him off of his square. And the only touchdown that he threw was, I want to say, to Kevrick Wiggins, who was still on the team. I think that's the only touchdown that he got last year was Kevrick Wiggins. That's number 5 on Jackson State's roster. He threw K5 a touchdown pass. So that's what I feel as far as like the that's how I feel. I'm trying to see if all these people are still on here. Yep, all these people are still on here. So this is just a sample that I put together. I did take off one of the defensive linemen on this particular slide. So you would just have to add another defensive lineman. But this is just a sample of, I want to say, took some people off because they were no longer on the roster. Let me see, is everybody on this roster? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so this is an example just of a defensive scheme that I put with the actual pictures. And all of these particular players are still on the roster. So this is just an example, which I think True Thompson, I put him there prematurely because he's not coming off the edge. So you would probably put, let me see. You could put Clark there. You could put Phillip Webb there. Who else? Julius Reynolds could come off the edge. There's so many different types of scenarios in which you could place on there. So it's hard to say what type of defense they'll run. Yeah. So if you have any questions about the roster, all you gotta do is go to the website. Well, is such and such still there? Just go to the website. If you don't see them on the website, then that means that they're not on the team. And could that be due to grades? Maybe could it be due to depth? Could it be because they didn't want to play anymore? Could it be due to injury? We don't know the logistics, but what we do know is who's on the team. Anybody that wants to come up and speak your piece before we get to KC 1400 Club? Sounds like some Sherlock Swack Holmes questions. Oh, Mr. Walker, are they fishing? Listen, I don't have no inside track. All you have to do is pick your poison. Which ones do you want to go with? Like, you don't have to you can just pick. AJ Petty has played at nickel. He played at the nickel in the spring game, I want to say. Oh Lord. So pick your poison. Which ones do you want to come in there? And then let me see if I can pull up the linebackers. I mean, you really can just kind of like pick whichever one you want to and plug them in wherever. It's kind of like which way do you want to go? Zoe said some players that are there won't be on the roster. We'll have to wait till the season start and their dogs. And that's the thing. Like, you could just plug and play. It's almost like a video game. Like, pick your 4 or 3 and plug them into where you want them, and then you just run it on autopilot. They said that 2 new kickers are coming. So there's some people that are not currently on the roster that are coming. And you know what? They might not put their name out on the web right now. When does school start? Let's see. I mean, week 0 is less than 2.5 weeks away. The first day of class is, let's see. Classes begin Monday, August 21st. The last day to register is August 25th. And you know that when you're taking a flight to Atlanta, I'm pretty sure you have to have everybody in by, what's today, the 9th? They probably have to have everybody that's going to Atlanta by, I want to say what, probably August 19th, 18th, 19th, somewhere around there. You're going to have to know who's going to be on that plane. Who is this Smoke, Bowie, and Luke Hill? Who are these people? I don't know who that is. Is he a grad transfer? Because if he's not a grad transfer, how is he going to play immediately? So it says that he was a transfer defensive back from Texas A&M, but it doesn't say that he is a grad transfer. So the only way that Bowie would be able to play is if he's a grad transfer. Whoa. So I don't know. Somebody said that they have major character concerns. One of them has an attempted murder charge. So one of the things that we pride ourselves at Jackson State University is academics, and character is a very big part, especially in a locker room where you want everybody to mesh well. So I don't think All right. Let me do this last poll. More than 40. I think we do have more than 40 stars on our team. All the stars that we have. Yeah, we don't need no more scandals. So did Ray Lewis, and look how he turned out. Don't ever cut your nose to spite your face. Well, Miss May Ann, one thing I will say is that our DB room, which I have not done the actual whole slides on our DBs, but I don't think that we would need that. Our DB room is pretty shaped up pretty nicely. So I'm going to play some Jackson State music.
Mommy, where's our babe?
And once again, thank y'all for tuning into my live. JSU Tigers baseball, softball, women's soccer, and men's cross-country and track have graduation success rates of 90% or higher. Right. And so I don't think we need a DB. So once again, thank you all for tuning in to She Loves Thee podcast. I will be making an announcement soon about my gig that I have in Atlanta for SWACMIAC Challenge. I'm so excited. Hopefully I will be able to see you all in Atlanta, Georgia. So that particular announcement is coming soon. I just have a couple of pieces. Love to hear about the fellas showing out in practice. Sounds like they're hungry. Yep. And it says that they're getting chippy during practice, which if they're getting chippy with each other, you already know what's about to happen when it's a team that they don't play with every day. So South Carolina State, I'm hoping to get Kobe on to do a breakdown. So even though Kobe knows Jackson State, he is a representative, of course, of South Carolina State when it comes to South Carolina versus Jackson State. Thank you all for tuning in. The kid is down with Future. Oh, Lord. Mr. Campbell. Listen, we're not into the whole, who is it? Boston Richie Blitz. We don't want none of that mess coming our way. We're trying to keep it clean, y'all. Oh, I want to show you guys this because I thought this was really cute. Let me see. This is just SWAC news. Just something lighthearted. Let me see if I can show you guys real quick. I thought it was cute and interesting and fun. This is the football team. Mr. Ford, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You ain't said nothing the whole show.
Tell me what you need me to say.
Mr. Campbell's on the line. Do you want to say anything to Mr. Campbell?
What is Mr. Campbell talking? You know I'm on the phone. Tell me, what is he saying?
He's just over here being messy as per usual.
What does he say? What's his words now?
Let's see. Let's see what messy stuff Mr. Campbell has to say today. Oh, forget about what Mr. Campbell is saying. He being petty. I wanted your take on the golf. You've been talking about golf for so long.
And they brought it back, right?
Yes, in 2024.
Right now, who's going to be the coach?
Let's guesstimate who could be the coach. I want Shasta Averhart for the women's. Don't you?
Yeah, now I remember Eddie Payton.
Yeah, but Eddie Payton's like 70 years old.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. Yeah.
Remember we was talking about this before, and we were like, how old is he? He's 72 years old.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah. Because I think he was older than Walter, right?
Yeah.
Was he older than Walter?
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Campbell said, what is Gremlin going to do in the West?
It depends on that quarterback situation. If their quarterback comes through, they gonna be good.
You talking about Miles Crowley?
One of them, if somebody comes through for him at quarterback, I just don't think that Calvez kid is the answer. Not now.
You don't think who is the answer?
Remember the kid name was Calvez, I think. Remember that kid from last year, Grambling? I think his name is Calvez.
All I remember is that Gremlin was 3-8 last year. That's what I remember.
Yeah, we were 3-8. Didn't get that quarterback situation right.
Yeah, they said Julian Chavez, but why would you be trying to? Okay, so this is my thing. I know that a lot of teams that were 3-8 or under 500, they're banking on development to be the reason why they're going to topple this season. What do you think about the statement that Coach T.C. Taylor has the most pressure on him in the SWAC than any other coach? What do you think about that statement?
I don't know if I would say he has the most pressure.
Well, don't you think coaches like Willie Simmons and Fred McNair have more pressure on them than anybody else?
Yeah, I do.
Y'all had more time to get it right in the SWAC than anybody else that's on the roster.
I think it's Fred. I think Fred has the most pressure on him right now. I think it's Fred. If Fred don't win, it could be some reverberations down there. They could ask Fred to leave.
And replace him with who?
Huh?
And replace him with who?
I have no idea.
Willie Simmons?
No, Will ain't going nowhere, fam. You knows about how hard it is to get a good coach now. You know, I talked about that. Shoot. When Billy Joe left after 2003, it wasn't until Willie Simmons showed up they got them Rattlers back on track. Because they was pathetic. Huh?
15 years?
Yeah, they went through Reuben Carter. From Reuben Carter, he was pathetic. Joe Taylor was mediocre. Earl Holmes is the worst coach in the history of FAMU. From Earl Holmes, they went to a guy named Alex Wood, who just forgot how to coach. Man, it was a bad time. Man, they went, like you said, about 15 years. I mean, it was pathetic down there in Tallahassee when it came to football. And finally, Willie Simmons showed up.
They be bragging so hard. They brag different over there on the highest of 7 hills.
And them highest of 7 hills, baby. What is it, Warnish Way? Isn't that what they call it, Warnish Way?
I don't know what they call
That's one of they streets over there, Warnish Way.
HBCU. Mr. Walker says Coach McNair's contract expires in December. And Swacking a Fool, G said that they bought a contract to the table for McNair so that he could resign, and that he decided not to do it.
I'm just, I like Fred, and Fred is good to me.
Mr. Campbell says Willie got the most pressure because if he loses to JSU, there'll be a telethon show on these JSU channels. I most certainly will be doing a telethon show. You know it.
Willie Simmons ain't going nowhere.
No, he's not. But we are
he ain't going nowhere.
When I tell you, that's gonna be. Oh, Mr. Campbell did say it's Wanish Way. I don't know what that is.
Is it Warnish Way or something like that?
Wanish.
Didn't it split the campus or something? Or it goes in front of the football stadium or something?
Is that where it goes over there by the snake?
Yeah, I think Warnish Way something. It goes. I think it goes by the old Jake Gaither Gymnasium, and you know what? I can't remember now. I think it's Something like that. I have to ask Mr. Campbell. He'll tell us. Warnish Way, I think they call it.
That's what he said. He said Wanish, but
Yeah.
I think like that for the golf. Not the Jackson State teams. There was a student that came out and said, "Hey, it's not just about football now. It's the girls soccer won, cross country won, basketball women's won regular SWAC championship. Let's not just focus on football."
Yeah.
So I definitely will take that into consideration and definitely do more to expose and talk about other sports other than football.
Yeah. I mean, you got to remember now. You got Ashley Robinson as athletic director. You got the #1 AD in HBCUs and one of the top ADs in the country. He knows what he's doing. You just got a top-notch program. He has the Midas touch. Everything he touched turns to gold. Isn't that what they say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the young lady who she was running for an election, a position in Jackson? I want to say Jackson or in Hinds County, and her home got shot up last night.
Oh.
Let me get her name. I want to say it's Tamara. Her home got shot up last night.
And what was she running for?
I'm gonna pull it up. I was like, what? What are y'all doing? Gunmen shoot into Mississippi candidate's home. Like, what? Y'all sending out hits on folks? Come on now. What in the world? All right. So it's the home of a candidate running for the Mississippi House of Representatives was shot into Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
4 gunmen approached the home of Tamara Grace Butler Washington just after midnight and opened fire. According to Butler Washington, bullets came through the room she was in and barely missed her. And her son was in the room sleeping but was not injured. Butler Washington is running for the Mississippi House District 69. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I can believe it, but I just hope that,
no. And she said it was 4 teenagers that did it. So what y'all do? Send somebody over there to do that? And you see that Tate Reeves, he won by leaps and bounds. It wasn't even close.
That's for governor?
Yes. He had 2 other Republicans. I don't know. I remember when I told people that they needed to go ahead and vote for. So if it's an open primary, so everybody should have just went and voted for the other Republican so that he would have been out automatically. He won by leaps and bounds. It wasn't even a fight. Like, they're going to reelect. I'm not going to say they're going to reelect him. He got 269,775 votes. 75% of the votes. It wasn't even close. So it looks like, yeah. But I was trying to see why would her house be shot into, and I think it was because there was a couple of people who were incumbents and they lost their reelection, especially in Hinds County. Yeah. Oh, here it is. She was running against Patty Patterson, Iva Steptoe, and Alan Cole. So I don't know. But anyway, Mr. Ford, you have anything else to say?
No, I just think it's, we got about 3 weeks until the 26th, and I think this is going to be a great season. I'm looking forward to it.
We got 2.5 weeks.
Oh, we got 2.5 weeks?
Yeah, it's the 9th.
Oh, I thought it was the 26th of August.
Yeah, 7-14. Yeah, that's 2.5 weeks.
Okay, I'm looking for a great season. I'm just,
Are you
I
going to
think
the
this.
Jack Miak Challenge?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to be there. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be at the Guard the Yard. I'm going to be at the Guard the Yard tailgate, so hopefully I'll be able to see a lot of people there.
Now that's going to be there at Georgia State Stadium, or where are you going to be located?
Yeah, that's going to be right in front of the stadium from
Okay.
I want to say
Okay.
like 3 to 6 or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. That I mean, like I said, I just think I thought last year was going to be a big season. I think this one's going to be bigger. I think this season's
For
going to be
all of
bigger.
the SWAC?
Huh?
For all of the SWAC or just for
Yeah.
Jackson?
Now I'm gonna be honest with you. I do believe that Jackson State will go undefeated in the SWAC.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, hold up. What you say? What you say, Mr. Ford?
I said I think Jackson goes undefeated in the SWAC.
Ooh.
Now, here's the thing. I believe that they could go totally undefeated. I just think they can beat that. Is it Texas State? What is? Yeah,
Texas State.
I think they can beat them. I just that's a question mark for me. Is that Texas State game?
But
I don't know.
Hey, I'll take undefeated in the SWAC all day.
Yeah, I think undefeated in the SWAC. I really do. I think undefeated in the SWAC. But I think they can beat that Texas State, which means they will be undefeated completely.
I agree with you. Listen,
Yeah, I am.
When I break it down and I look at the roster and I look at the talent that we have, and not just the talent, but the coaching.
Oh, yeah.
I believe definitely that we can go undefeated in the SWAC again.
Yeah,
I know
I
it's
believe so, too.
hard for anybody to say that, it's very hard for someone to go undefeated in the SWAC, but it seemed like we did it so effortlessly the last couple of seasons, and based off of talent and just knowing how to recruit through the transfer portal.
Yeah, I mean, y'all just overwhelmed the SWAC with the talent you brought in the last 2 years. I mean, y'all just overwhelmed everybody.
Well, I mean, based off of that particular message that we overwhelmed them with the talent, we have a lot of key players that are still at Jackson State, and we did a phenomenal job of recruiting. So I believe that we can do it as well.
Yeah, I think you'll do it. I think you'll do it again.
Mr. Campbell said somebody must have bought you a SWAC Miak ticket. And they will not let him back off of Exit 81. We don't play, Mr. Campbell, we don't play Gremlin this year. So
no, you don't play Gremlin.
Technically, he wasn't. It's not a diss to Gremlin because we don't play them this year unless they make it to the SWAC championship.
Yeah, unless they make it to the SWAC championship.
You coming with us on Saturday, Mr. Ford? You gonna be on HBCU Overdrive and SheLovesThee?
Yeah, I was looking for y'all last Saturday. I've been looking for Doc. When I looked for him last Thursday night, I was thinking he was gonna come on Friday, and then I was looking for him Saturday night.
Oh.
And finally, he reappeared. I think Monday they did their band show.
Yeah.
And they were talking about the band. Now, I'm going to tell you, all of the bands are reputable, but I still say that those two bands out there in Texas are really coming up. That Texas Southern and, the Ocean and that Prairie View. Those bands are outstanding.
What's the band's name in Prairie View? What's their name?
They call them the Storm, isn't it?
The who?
Isn't it? Don't they call Prairie View's band the Storm? I know that the dancing girls are called the Black Foxes or something.
Storm.
Is it the Storm?
It's the marching storm.
Yeah, the marching storm. Now I really think those bands have really come up. And that Texas Southern band, woo. I've been watching them the last 2 years. That they've gotten a whole lot better every year.
Watching them against who? Not against the Sonic Boom of the South.
Let's see. I saw him against Southern on television. Was it last year? I saw him out in Arlington or somewhere, and then I saw him against Grambling. They played in Houston, I think, last year. They were really good. And now, one time, that Prairie View band was the largest band in the country, wasn't it? Oh, largest HBCU band or something.
I mean, for the Battle of the Bands, I just, Sonic Boom of the South, I feel like we just get an automatic bid.
Oh, yeah, you do. You do. And then don't forget Southern, Florida A&M, Grambling,
Southern?
Yeah, Southern, And by the way, he was on, the Southern band director was on, he was on the Carlos Brown show. Have you ever listened to Carlos Brown?
Yes, I've heard of that song, that show before.
Yeah, he was on, and it was a really good interview. But one thing he said that in order for them to perform in Jacksonville, Florida, that trip was going to cost them $100,000. That's a lot of money for them to go
All
to.
right, well, it looks like KC 1400 is getting ready to drop, so I'm going to drop that link, the YouTube link in there.
Oh, yeah.
I hope we see you on Saturday because we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I'll be there Saturday. Lord willing, I'll be there.
The realignment of the FBS and what that means for HBCU football.
Oh, listen, it's going to be good for us because all them players that they don't care nothing about, a lot of them kids are going to come to the SWAC. You'll see. Because let me tell you something. All they care about over there in that FBS, especially that Power 5, is money. They don't care nothing about them kids. Yeah.
Well, come on back home. Come on to the HBCU.
Yeah, I'm calling it. I think a lot of them kids, because, man, it ain't going to make no sense flying out. If you ain't going to California one week, you got to fly to, Colorado. It don't make no sense. You're going to kill all the rivalries.
Right.
You're going to kill all the rivalries.
That's the most important thing about HBCUs is to not look at what these folks are doing and think you need to mimic
That's
it.
right.
Because
That's
now
right.
it's been revealed that everything in the milk ain't clean, and everything that looks green from your view, it ended up being weeds.
And see, a lot of those group of 5 schools, they want to pimp Jackson, they want to pimp Southern, they want to pimp FAMU, because they know that their days are numbered. Okay, and so what they want is money from Jackson's fans, money from FAM's fans, money from Southern fans. So I hope they don't fall for the okie doke, because these people are out to pimp them.
I hope so too. As long as we get people to invest and stop having the same folks that claim that they're for us, as long as we get them to stop pimping us and give us what we rightfully are due, we'll be good. And with that being said, thank you all for tuning in to She Loves the podcast. Going over to KC 1400 Media or the KC 1400 Club or Ken Clark and Friends. Mr. Ford, thank you for coming on tonight.
Okay, have a good night here.
Okay. Have a good night.
All right.
Thank you.